My God, still rolling stones away. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. We were the beggars, and now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, and now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. We were the beggars, and now we're royalty. We were the prisoners, and now we're running free. We are forgiven, accepted, redeemed by His grace. Let the house of the Lord sing praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Come on. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. And we won't be quiet. All right. We shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We're gonna shout out your praise. There's joy in the house of the Lord. There's joy in the house of the Lord today. Oh, be quiet. We shout, there's joy in the house of the Lord. Our God is surely in this place. And we won't be quiet. We shout out your praise. We shout out your praise. The praise of Jesus. Oh, we shout out your praise. Oh.
Hello and welcome to Community Online. I'm so glad you're joining us today. Here at Community, we are all about helping people find their way back to God. This mission is the heartbeat behind everything we do. We believe the life you are longing for can be found in a growing connection with God, the church, and the world God's given us to love and serve. And we want to help you experience that life. If you're interested in learning more, drop us a comment and we will be sure to connect with you. If you are new here, I want to say a special welcome. By joining us today, you've already taken your first step, and we would love to help you take your next steps. To do that, scan the QR code to check in and create your account so we can learn your name and reach out. Or feel free to say hey in the chat or submit a prayer request. We would love to connect with you.
Dude, where are we? I don't know, but by the look of this car and the intentional use of vertical video, I'd say we're somewhere in the future.
How did we get here?
Flux capacitor, obviously.
It also looks like we're in another Sonic commercial parody for Community.
It's been a long time.
Well, I wonder what we're here to talk about.
Well, there's so many great things happening at Community right now.
Actually, can we get some food first? I'm famished. Will you order me an app?
No, but I will download the new Community app on my phone. It's available now, and it's everything you need to stay connected at Community.
Wait, what year is it right now?
Well, according to my calculations, my calendar app on the iPhone, it's today. We didn't travel into the future after all. It's now.
But it feels like a new now.
It sure does. I mean, look at this. Community is celebrating 35 years. New Thing has helped plant 27,000 churches in 68 different countries. Discipleship conversations are happening with kids, students, and adults. Small groups are starting and thriving all over our locations and expressions. And Community is introducing the new app.
Wait, why are we in a DeLorean?
So we can go
app to the future. Introducing the new Community app. Available now wherever you get your apps. It's everything you need to get and stay connected at Community. So get the new Community app now. And let's all go app to the future.
Community has a new app. It's an amazing way for you to receive timely info and valuable resources. We'll be updating the app constantly because our goal is to put everything in one place and make it accessible for you. Whether it's info for your kids, small groups, or events, it'll be right there on the app. I truly believe this new resource will help us stay connected as together we grow our relationships with God, the church, and the world. So please join us. Get out your phone and download the new Community app right now. As we continue in our service, let's take a moment to give back to God. In 1 Timothy 5:8, Paul reminds his young apprentice Timothy that providing for our families is one of the ways we honor God. God calls us to be good stewards of the resources he has given us, including our household. One of the best ways we manage this is by creating and following a budget. A budget is a great tool that actually frees you to be generous, not only to your family, but to God as well. So let's continue to encourage and challenge one another to be faithful stewards of what God has given us by giving back to God. You can give online or set up your recurring gift by going to givenow.cc or by texting the word GIVE to 331-226-1686. And as you give, let's join Naperville Community Pastor Chris Nichols as he brings us the second message in our series, Habits.
How many of you consider yourself to be a morning person? Maybe you're really disciplined or you've really learned how to maximize those early hours. I've recently reworked my morning routine, and I'll be honest, it's changed everything for me. So each morning, I spend time with the Lord. I read my Bible and I pray. I also like to read a devotional, take some time, write in my journal. After that, it's time to work out. Maybe I go to the gym. Some days I go for a long run. Stretching or maybe some yoga is next. And once I've done all that, I make my bed. It's a nice discipline that spills over to the rest of the day. But it does take some time to correctly place all 40 throw pillows. Next is all 5 steps of my new skincare regimen while listening to a podcast. And then I eat breakfast. I know a protein bar would suffice, but I prefer to cook avocado toast on fresh bread that I baked the night before and some fresh sliced fruit. And I do the dishes after breakfast so that I don't come home from work to a mess. You know, there's really only one thing about my new morning routine that isn't going great. I've discovered that to do all those things, I have to get up at about 2 a.m. Sometimes it's best not to even go to bed. In fact, I'm feeling a little tension taking all this time to teach this message because I could be getting a jump start on tomorrow's routine. Isn't this the tension that many of us navigate? There's the list of everything I should do. There's the list of everything I could do if I was a more disciplined person. And then there's the list of everything I actually want to do. It's a short list. I don't want to do anything besides drink coffee and stare off mindlessly into the distance. Today in our Habit series, we're going to talk about making the most of our morning routine. And the point of this message is not to point a judgmental finger at you while unpacking everything you should do. It's not to overwhelm you with all the good things you could do. The point is to recognize there are small things you can do that could have a profound effect on your day and in the long run, your life. And what you can do is found in the life of Jesus and in the wisdom of Scripture. We're in the second week of a 5-week series where we're challenging ourselves, especially parents, to be intentional about the habits that shape our households. But let's be clear. This series isn't just for parents and caregivers. The habits we're discussing are relevant to all of us because whether we realize it or not, our habits are constantly shaping who we are. And these habits are influencing our children as well. By default, we tend to adopt the habits of the culture around us. In America, this often means falling into patterns of unending busyness, unrivaled consumerism, and unceasing screen time. These cultural habits aren't truly what we want for ourselves or our children, right? I'm guessing most of us want to cultivate habits that lead us towards the thriving life God has for us. We want habits that help us and our kids grow in faith and peace and purpose. Jesus gives us a beautiful picture in John 15, where he says, "I am the vine, you are the branches. If you remain in me and I in you, you will bear much fruit. Just as a trellis supports a vine to grow and bear fruit, our habits can support our growth as followers of Jesus. They help us to remain in Jesus and to nurture a deep, sustaining relationship with Him. So, over the next 4 weeks, we're going to dive into how we can intentionally form habits around 4 key areas: waking, meal times, screen time, and bedtime. These are everyday moments that we can draw closer to Jesus and lead our families to do the same. And we encourage you to use this resource we created with your family or with your small group to decide on the habits that you want to adopt in your life. Today, we are focusing on waking habits. How we start our day can set the tone for everything that follows. Imagine beginning each day with practices that center us on God's presence and purpose rather than immediate rush into the chaos of daily life. As we explore these waking habits, begin to think about what small changes you can make to start each day with intention and focus on God. Perhaps a good place to start this conversation is to say congratulations, because if you're listening to this message, you woke up today. We wake up at different times, and we wake up to different stories. In his book, Habits of the Household, Justin Whitmore Earley writes, "Waking is an incredible thing. We have spent hours of our lives unconscious and vulnerable. Then we open our eyes and try to relocate ourselves in reality. What time is it? What do we have to do today? What is going on in the world? How do we feel about ourselves?" Waking from sleep may be considered a given, but waking to reality is not. A lot depends on the stories we listen to as we wake. The truth is, I can unintentionally start my day by waking into a bad story, and maybe you do too. We don't do it on purpose. Oftentimes, it's just the byproduct of unfulfilling routines. Let me give some examples. Sometimes the first thing I do when I wake up is I check email. And maybe it's curiosity, or maybe it feels productive. The problem is when I check email first, I can wake up to a story of performance. And in doing so, I have a tendency to let other people shape their agenda for my day before I even have a chance to think about what my priorities are. Sometimes the first thing I do is check social media. I know this is really common. The problem with starting my day on social media is I can wake up to a story of comparison and envy. I'm waking up to the highlight reel of everyone else's story before I've even started to live my own. Sometimes the first thing I do is watch or read the news because I don't want to wait to find out that the stock market is down and my favorite player got traded and democracy has collapsed. The problem with starting with news is I can wake up to a story of anger and fear. And sometimes the first thing I do is jump out of bed to get everyone ready and start my to-dos. And in doing so, I can wake up to a story of busyness. It's 8 a.m. and I'm already behind. There's so much to do. What will people think of me if I don't cross everything off the list? And more seriously, sometimes it's a much heavier story we wake up to. Some of us struggle to get out of bed at all, trapped by anxiety, paralyzed by the weight of life and that sense that we're not enough. Surely this is not how life is supposed to feel. Surely there's another way. Studies have confirmed that the choices we make in the first hour of our morning often determine what the rest of the day will look like. And since that's true, something we can do is choose differently. We can start the day with God's presence. Psalm 16:11 says, "You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand." We can start the day with God's direction. Proverbs 3 says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." We can start the day with God's love. Psalm 143 says, "Let the morning bring me word of your unfailing love, for I have put my trust in you. Show me the way I should go, for to you I entrust my life." The truth is, we already have morning routines that shape how we start the day. The opportunity is to choose habits that will awaken us to God's presence, God's love, and his direction each day. Habits that will write a new kind of story for our life and for our family. So let's talk about 3 simple ways that we can begin to cultivate intentional waking habits. So let's begin with the first waking habit, prayer. Jesus himself set a powerful example for us in Mark 1:35. It says, very early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up, left the house, and went off to a solitary place where he prayed. By starting the morning in prayer, Jesus set the tone for the rest of his day. His first priority, before anything else, was to spend time with the Father. And starting our day with prayer and reflection helps us center our minds and our hearts on God's presence and his guidance. Building a habit out of prayer is not just personal peace, it's also about preparing for the spiritual battles that we and our families will face throughout the day. When we pray, we're essentially going to battle for our families, asking for God's protection, wisdom, and strength to navigate whatever challenges are ahead. We can form a waking habit of prayer by simply setting aside a specific time each morning, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes, just to pray. If you have young kids at home and it's hard to find a quiet space alone in the morning, you might start by praying while you feed your baby or as you brush your teeth. Use the time to thank God for the new day, to seek his guidance, and lay your worries and plans before him. Psalm 5:3 says, in the morning, Lord, you hear my voice. In the morning, I lay my requests before you and wait expectantly. Let this be a moment of peace and connection with God before the busyness begins. You and your family could also keep a prayer journal where every morning you write down a prayer request. At the end of the week, come together and talk about how God answered your prayers during the week. By beginning our day with a waking habit of prayer, we ground ourselves in God's presence, preparing us and our families to face the day with confidence and with trust. A second waking habit you might consider is presence. This means being fully present with God and with each other. Mornings can quickly become a rush of activity and distractions. You can cultivate a waking habit of presence by committing to keeping phones and TVs and other devices off during breakfast and during the start of the morning. It'll help everyone stay focused on each other without the pull of the digital distractions. And use that time at breakfast to ask each other questions about how everyone is doing and how they're feeling and what their plans are for the day. When my daughters were little and they'd be getting ready for school, sometimes they would be dreading the day. And I told them every day had at least one thing to look forward to. And I'd make them think about what that one thing might be. And I can't tell you how many times they let me know that lunch was the only thing they were excited about, but that's okay. That shared presence gave me one last chance to influence what they expected of the day. Another opportunity is to incorporate brief periods of silence and stillness into our morning routine. This could be a few minutes of quiet reflection or devotional time, or simply sitting in silence. There are many verses about stillness in the Bible. In Psalm 46, we read, be still and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. When we choose stillness in a culture that pushes us to never stop moving, we create space to recognize that God is present and he is sovereign over every area of our lives. And the impact of this waking habit is profound. Being present with God increases our ability to hear what he is saying so that we can also do what he says. And when we are present with our family, we become more aware of each other's needs and emotions, and every person feels heard and valued, and we set a more positive and connected tone for the rest of the day. When we prioritize presence in our morning routines, we create an environment where love and relationship and spiritual growth can flourish. A third waking habit is praise. Starting the day with the spirit of gratitude helps draw our attention to God's blessings and God's grace. This can be as simple as encouraging every family member to share something they're thankful for each morning during breakfast or as part of a morning prayer. It's a simple but powerful way to begin the day with gratitude. I know some people who keep a gratitude journal, writing down something they're grateful for every day. Or you could have everyone in your family write something down every morning and put them in a gratitude jar. And once a week, you could empty the jar and read all your blessings together. Another great way to cultivate A waking habit of praise is to add worship music while you get ready or on the drive to school or to work. The psalmist says, "But I will sing of your strength. In the morning I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble." Starting our day with praise shifts our focus from stress and worry to joy and to gratitude for God's goodness and faithfulness. Imagine how this might shift the atmosphere in your home. Remember, no matter who we are, we all begin our day by waking up. How we start our morning sets the tone for the story of our life that we're writing every day. And we want to help you write that story. So we've developed a resource to help you and your family make intentional choices around your habits. So I encourage you to pick one waking habit to begin practicing this week. If your kids are old enough, include them in the decision. I believe this is worth your time and it has the potential to be transformative for you and your family because I've experienced it in my own life. Years ago, I found myself in a difficult season. I was feeling a bit depressed and uninspired. Work was a little lifeless and relationships were feeling strained. I kept waiting on circumstances to change, for a propelling event in my life that would help me feel more inspired. And a mentor gave me great advice. He said that a person doesn't have to wait to be inspired. He said that inspiration is something that can be cultivated. And that resonated with me. And so I evaluated my own life and my own habits to see what I could change. And you won't be surprised, the obvious place to make change was my morning routine. Prior to that, I most often started my day with email and social media. Not because those were what I wanted. It was just absent a plan, those are what I drifted towards. And so I decided to stop drifting, to choose what my morning would be like. And I chose a few habits that would create some healthy change and some inspiration in my life. I decided to leave my phone on the charger, make a cup of coffee, and then read my Bible and devotional. I'd also try and learn one new thing every day, whether it was from a book or a podcast. And once that was done, I would finally pick up my phone for the first time. Now you might say, that sounds like a ridiculous should list from the start of this message. I'm not saying these should be your habits. These were my habits for a specific season of my life. But can I tell you what really worked about them? Adopting these habits helped me start my day as a human being rather than a human doing. These habits were focused on my soul, on my mind, and I quit drifting and I found myself more inspired. Do you know the real problem with drifting? It's that nothing drifts uphill. Nobody drifts into a more peaceful mindset. Nobody drifts into a healthier body, and nobody drifts into a deeper relationship with God. It's not for me to tell you what you should change about your morning routine. Perhaps it's giving you exactly the life that you want. But if it's not, I will tell you that you can choose a different morning and experience a new day. God is willing to meet you first thing every single day, and I know that because His Word gives us that promise. Lamentations 3 says, "Because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for His compassions never fail. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness."
Be still and know that I am God. Every week, we engage in the habit of coming around the table together to celebrate the Lord's Supper. It's a moment for us to quiet our hearts and minds, to still ourselves before the Lord, and remember the greatness and goodness of our God. So, as we prepare our hearts to receive communion, I invite you to be still, to set your mind on Jesus and to open your awareness to His presence with you.
In the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, in the morning when I rise, give me Jesus, give me Jesus. Give me Jesus, give me Jesus. Who can roll the stone from every grave? Only Jesus. than silver or gold. I'd rather be his than have riches untold. I'd rather have Jesus than houses or land. I'd rather be held by his nail-pierced hands than to be the king of a vast domain, or be held in sin's dread sway. I'd rather have Jesus than anything this world affords today.
Today, as you receive the bread and the cup, may it be a reminder of the constant presence of God in your life. I invite you to receive the bread, his body, broken for you, and the cup, his blood, shed for you. Will you pray with me? Jesus, we thank you for the opportunity to come together. I pray as we're thinking about our habits, Lord, that we would just seek time with you in the morning. That when we wake up, we would declare your goodness and that we would praise you for all that you've done in our lives. Jesus, we thank you for what you're doing at Community, and we thank you for the opportunity to fellowship together. In your name we pray. Amen. I'm so glad you were able to join us today. Before you leave, let me remind you to download the brand new Community app. It's the way to have everything about Community right at your fingertips, including downloading the Habits resource for this series. Have a great week, and we'll see you right here next time at Community Online.